starts with a fresh shot of espresso. Bold, rich, pulled just right. Then comes the milk, steamed smooth, creamy, and balanced. The perfect latte is not rushed. It is crafted, one cup at a time. Your perfect latte is ready. Coffee first, then everything else.
Good afternoon and welcome to Beyond the Headlines. I'm DJ Moises, and today's conversation is brought to us by Coffee First. Two firearm-related incidents in Cebu schools were contained through prompt action by teachers, school personnel, and police. One involved a 14-year-old student who brought his grandfather's revolver to school, raising questions about firearm storage and adult responsibility. The other involved a 21-year-old student allegedly making shooting threats through a dummy social media account, including threats against a teacher. Cebu increased police presence in schools following the August 17 Zamboanga City School shooting, with more than 200 police officers deployed across 278 schools as of August 18. Earlier today, DepEd postponed its nationwide school safety drills, originally scheduled for tomorrow, following the suspension of face-to-face classes in several areas due to bad weather. So for the latest developments, we have Sunstar correspondent in the National Capital Region, Third Ann Malonzo. Hello, Third. Good afternoon.
Yes, Sir DJ, good afternoon. Oo, tama ka nga dyan, sa nabanggit mo, pinospone nga ng DepEd, ito nga, nakaschedule supposedly tomorrow, August 25, yung safety drills na, schedule nga to dahil nga sa mga nangyari nitong mga nakaraan, na may mga shooting incident na nangyari sa mga eskwelahan. Anyway, the Department of Education on Monday, ngayon, postponed the nationwide school safety drills scheduled for Tuesday, August 25, citing initially the suspension of face-to-face classes in various parts of the country due to inclement weather. The drills will instead be conducted next week, the first week of September 2026. In a statement, the DepEd said this postponement was also an opportunity to consolidate expert opinions and evidence-based practices to strengthen the activity. Kasi nung kahapon, Sir DJ, the Philippine Psychiatric Association and the Philippine Society for Child and Adolescent Psychiatry urged the DepEd to defer the activity, saying it could expose students to hyper-realistic scenarios of violence and can cause psychological harm across different age groups. The PSA and the PSCAP said based on current evidence, such simulation will not result to the reduction of casualties or prevent violent incidents. They said school safety is best strengthened through measures that protect without causing trauma. They cited they cited classroom locks, controlled entry points, and perimeter security, which should be prioritized instead. The PSA also encouraged schools to adapt tabletop exercises which are discussion-based. Ito nga yung pwedeng mag-sit down ang mga students kasama yung kanilang mga teachers o yung mga school staff, ganun din na kasama yung kanilang parents, at mag-discuss sila ng mga what-if scenarios to build coordination and preparedness among children without frightening them. The group said participation should also be inclusive, with accommodations for learners who have disabilities, sensory processing needs, or prior trauma. Each school should conduct a needs assessment before developing and implementing drills to ensure that the unique characteristics of its community are considered. Earlier, the DepEd ordered schools to develop, review, or update their school contingency plan for active attack incidents and share the final and approved plan with their respective LGUs, the Philippine National Police, and the Parent Teachers Association. Among the measures included in the plan are yun nga, yung pag-double lock, yung mga double lock mechanisms and other classroom security measures, information and educational materials, family reunification areas, safe room and evacuation routes, and emergency communication procedures. The Education Department reminded schools that drills should prioritize the safety and psychological well-being of learners, teachers, and non-teaching personnel. It said the activities should be age-appropriate and trauma-informed, with emphasis on preparedness, protective actions, coordinated response, and post-incident recovery. Itong ganitong order ng DepEd, Sir DJ, no, alam naman natin yung nangyari sa San Jose National High School sa Tacloban kung saan 3 estudyante nga ang namatay dahil nga dun sa pamamaril na it was also perpetrated by 2 minor students. At ngayon din, just last week, yung nangyari sa Ateneo de Zamboanga kung saan 2 ang namatay kasama na nga yung isang minor de edad na na-involved doon sa shooting.
Mhm. Thank you very much, Third, no, for keeping us posted as the development unfolds. And yeah, hopefully by the time we see each other, the situation would be already safe and back to normal.
Yes, hopefully, Sir DJ. Thank you.
Thank you. So that's actually Third Ann Malonzo, no, Sunstar correspondent at the National Capital Region, and she is live, no, so reporting live from the PNP complex, no, at the NCR. So before we close today's episode, we just have a few kanang commentary, no, that are we want to share also to our viewers and the general public, and for the parents and school personnel and even students who are watching or everyday Cebuano. Please also can feel free to engage us in the conversation. You can comment on the comment section below on what are the tips, no, or the feedback that you can give so that we can continue to keep the schools safe, no, from threats that are emerging for the past 2 months here in the Philippines. So the last time we had a similar topic concerning the episode, no? The shooting in Zamboanga, which happened just within less than 2 months since the first incident that also happened in Tacloban. So we highlighted that it would take really a village, you know, if they say it takes a village to raise a child, it also takes a village to keep our schools kanang safe. So parents, schools, and society in general, we all play a responsibility, no? So I believe that for parents, they have the first responsibility. For the schools, they have the shared responsibility, and then the society, and that's where we all are, no? As everyday Cebuanos, everyday Filipinos, that's our collective responsibility. So to be more specific about what are the parental responsibilities that we hope we should be seeing more, no, in the coming days, is specific to kanang firearm storage. Okay, if we take a look at the incident in Zamboanga, allegedly the father left, no, the firearms in his bag, no. And which is a violation, because for those who are in the police force and they are issued with firearms, the firearms should have been with them every single moment. No? It's like their spouse, no, their partner, and so leaving that allegedly in a bag in his car allowed the suspect, no, to access those guns and eventually began firing, no, and killing 2 people, including himself. So and then now the incident in Pinamungahan, a revolver which is allegedly owned by his grandfather, no, and it was left in a cabinet, and apparently the 14-year-old student also had access, no. So I think one of the important precautionary measures, especially with parents or adult family members who have kind of firearms issued to them, kanang the licensed ones, no, katong mga walay lisensya, murag this is already a warning for us about the effects. But for those licensed na kanang firearms, let's also make sure that they are properly stored so that children will not have access to these firearms. So that's the first role, no, that parents should ensure. Kay again, katong duha ka incidents, there were firearms actually that were just left somewhere, and so a minor eventually had access to these, no. So na siya ay pattern. So that's where parents should come in, no. The other thing also, because ang network sa ato ang mga bata karon has already expanded. Sa una, we had an idea about the people they are hanging out with, because these are physical. We can see them physically, no? These are the children that they are playing with on the street, or these are the kids that they would also bring home, no, over lunch. Or these are also, we at least we had an idea who their parents are, because if our kids would also be spending lunch or playtime with them, at least we get to know the parents. But now that the network of our kids have also expanded online, so the more parents will have to make time to actually get to know who, what games, and what social media platforms are they accessing, and at the same time, who are they kanang playing with, and who are they talking to, because kining mga games, they also have options for messages, so they truly have every opportunity also to interact with people, and some of them are not necessarily the right kind of people they should be interacting with. So I know that this is a tall order, considering that a lot of the households already in the country have both parents who are working, so wala gid kayo nakatutok sa mga bata, and I have nothing against that, because sa kalisod karon sa panahon, a lot of households will have to rely, no, for both parents to actually work. But I also hope that in spite of their tiredness and exhaustion, no, okay, because traffic pag yun, dugay na sila makaabot sa balay, but in spite the hardships, the challenges, and the exhaustion, the moment they reach home, they will still make time to have a conversation with their children, no, so that they would have a better grasp on the people who are surrounding their kids, no. The other thing also is kanang it's also the responsibility of the parents to make sure that the access that their kanang minors at home are controlled, no, and regulated, because there, even if there are certain games that a lot of us consider to be risky, such as Roblox, for example, but this type of games actually also have security kanang restrictions, and if these are also implemented at home, then at least our minors are able to access only age appropriate content or games online. So I know that this is again a tall order, but that's actually the parents' primary responsibility. No, we cannot just rely everything sa school. No, nga kanang we're just hoping na because we're busy parents, it's already okay not to interact so much of our kids, because anyway we are sending them to good schools. No, because at the end of the day, again, it's a shared responsibility. No, so the parents' responsibility, our responsibility actually comes first. And now, because we also have drills already, so I'm moving to the next point. No, I'm glad also that schools have already expanded their capacity, no, to handle further risks in schools. In the past, we just talk about kanang fire drill, and then eventually there were earthquake drills. And now, risk, no, in terms of possible shooting in school are also covered already, about risk that needs to be managed. And earlier, Third mentioned about tabletop, because a lot of psychiatrists and psychology experts are also worried that if children are exposed to actual shooting, then some of those scenarios might not be age appropriate, and they may not have the enough time to process and let the kids understand. So basin unyag ang effect, instead of helping children to be better in terms of reacting to incidents, basig maka-encourage na noon siya, no, o kanang behavior that would inflict harm, no, instead of avoiding harm. So there's also merit about kaning tabletop exercises, in which, as Third mentioned, kanang it becomes a conversation among the players, such as the police, the teachers, the parents, no, and the students, no? And there are certain scenarios that they discuss so that everybody already knows what to do, no? Should an incident actually happen. So I'm also glad that at least the Department of Education is already orchestrating a nationwide kanang safety drill, and I hope that this will push through soon, no? Because of kanang certain weather challenges, this would have been conducted already by tomorrow because this is urgent, no? But because of certain limitations, then they're moving this to September. But I hope these drills can also be administered in all schools in the country, no? And for the schools, if they are already prepared when it comes to earthquake or fire, I also hope that we will elevate our maturity, no, on how we react and manage incidents that are already related to shooting attacks, no? So there are a lot of actions that are already done. The ALG, as we know, also called for the total ban of Roblox, no? And my view, no, to this, I think for us na lang because kitang mga parents or kitang mga teachers, etc., or even the general public, we have kanang opinions such as this. And my view, actually, I do not consider games as the sole reason, no, why there are violence in schools, no. But I think for now there are actions which we call the stopgap measures or the interim actions. So if this is considered to be part of the interim solution, temporary solution, that I am for it. But let's not also kanang just charge everything to violent content, because there are also other countries, no, nga kanang they also have access to this content, but it did not necessarily translate to the same risks that we are seeing now. So that's why I would have to say we go back to the parents' first responsibility, and then before they pass them on to the school and also to the society, because we cannot also pretend like if I don't consider games such as Roblox as the only determinant of a child's behavior. I don't believe in that, but we cannot also pretend that given the access that the online access that our children has, so we do not know, we don't absolutely know who they are interacting with, no, while playing. So if this one would minimize the risk for now, then I'm for it. But what I'm just saying is let's not also believe that after the ban we're already good, because there are still more actions that we need to take to keep our schools and our children safe now. So from guns children can access, to the content they encounter online, to the mental health struggles we fail to see, the threats may look different, but the responsibility is the same. We must pay attention. So that's true for the parents, to the schools, and to everyday Filipinos and everyday Cebuanos. So the goal is not to raise children who know how to survive dangerous situations. The goal is to build homes, schools, communities, and systems that make these situations less likely to happen. So I'm DJ Moises. Shout out to Coffee First for supporting conversations such as this. This has been Beyond the Headlines. Let's continue to look deeper and think better. Have a good afternoon.
It starts with a fresh shot of espresso. Bold, rich, pulled just right. Then comes the milk, steamed smooth, creamy, and balanced. The perfect latte is not rushed. It is crafted, one cup at a time. Your perfect latte is ready. Coffee first, then everything else.